Hey everybody, I'm Jimmy Rance. I want to continue the conversation about those of you who are not full-time RVers, but you're considering becoming an RV dweller full-time, let's say. You want to be a full-time RVer. There's some things that I want to say about this. Number one, I'm not an expert in this topic. I am an avid RVer. I've been RVing probably since I was 14 years old with my parents. And like I said last video, I like to camp. I enjoy it. I've been doing that even before I joined the Boy Scouts when I was just a boy. So it's really something that I have a passion about. And I want to talk about it a little more. I'm just making some observations, and again, I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm not trying to be negative against RVing. I'm not trying to persuade you one way or another. I just want to just talk to you for a second or two. There's one thing that I've noticed, and this is what I want you to think about. Whenever I started YouTube, which has been a long time ago, I watched the evolution of RV channels come to fruition. And a lot of these people who did it from the very, very beginnings, they did it for a lot of different reasons. Some did it because they really, truly wanted to share the lifestyle with you. Other people, I believe, learned that, hey, I can make a lot of money if I can just get an RV channel, let people follow me. Maybe I can get them to like me. And then I can get sponsors and I can make money. I can get Patreon and I can get support that way. I can have an Amazon store. I can have this buy me a cup of coffee. Plus I can make AdSense. So it becomes a job. And so what happens whenever that happens, whenever the person, the RVer out there, uses the motive of making YouTube a full-time job, and their genre is full-time RVing, they naturally are going to show you nothing but the good side of RVing. That's all they're going to show you. They don't want you to see all the bad in it, not really. Every blue moon they may come up with something, but maybe it's something like a disaster that they're facing. Maybe it's their moment where they're trying to raise more money. Maybe they need new tires, or maybe they had a transmission problem, or maybe their engine blew. Who knows? And so they get people to send them money to help pay for their repair and maybe their hotel expenses and their food or whatever. I don't know. So I've watched this evolve, and I guess I have to go back to about 2012, I think, is when I pretty much really got involved in YouTube. And because I was an avid RVer, an RV owner myself, naturally I watched these people. And I have to admit, a lot of them did a wonderful job of sucking me into this RV lifestyle to the point of where I literally thought, maybe I'll sell my house and maybe I'll hit the road, the highways and byways, and maybe I can live the free, cheap, and easy life, But here's what I really want you to think about. There's another video that I'm going to have to make after this one that's going to kind of offset this one a little bit. And what I want to say right now is, if you own a home, if you are in an apartment or a manufactured home or whatever, if you can stay there, I want you to just think about this, if nothing else. All of these years, since 2012 to now, I've watched these RV channels go really from all of this super excitement to they're literally not even in the RVs anymore. As time evolved, I guess they found out, truthfully, it's not all cracked up to be what it's supposed to be. The package of BS that they were trying to sell us is not exactly true. Now, I want to throw a name out there, and I am not saying this in a negative connotation at all against Bob Wells. I think Bob Wells has done a lot of good for a lot of people, because there are a lot of people out there that are forced into this lifestyle, not because they choose this lifestyle, but they are forced into this lifestyle, and that's a different situation. And I think Bob was trying his best to try to educate people and give them an alternative way to live. And that's what maybe my next or a future video will be about those who are forced out of their homes for whatever reason, and they have to go to an RV. But we're not to that conversation yet. But the bottom line, and the reason I mentioned Bob Wells, is because, think about it, this is the man who really praised I don't want to just put words in his mouth, but I took it as like, be free. Get out of your homes and the taxes and the insurance and the HOAs and all that stuff. Get you an RV, come out to BLM land, and basically you can live on very little money and everything's going to be just wonderful, roses and rainbows. But it's not really that way. It's not really that way. And if it was roses and rainbows, I want to know this. Why did Bob Wells a year or two ago buy 20 acres of land in northern Arizona? Why? If it's so great, why? Now, the excuse will probably be, well, I'm getting older and I need a home base in the event that I can't travel anymore, which that's fair. That's fair. But can you see what's happening? We're going around the circle. We had a home. We got rid of the home for whatever reason. We got into RVing, whichever type of vehicle you use, whether it be a car, an RV, a van, whatever, doesn't matter. And now all of a sudden, as you age or whatever, or you find out that this lifestyle is not cracked up to be what they've been selling you and packaging to you, what do? They literally go back to the house, or they go back to a home base where they may have their RV, if the county code will allow them to put an RV on land, and they live in that. And man, that's a rough way of life, to be honest with you, especially if you have no electricity, no water, no sewage, no septic system to get rid of your waste. That's tough, man. When you're old, I'm 71 years old, and I would hate the thought of knowing that I live somewhere out in the desert, especially the high desert where it really gets cold, and I have to haul my own water, or I have to haul my own trash out of there, or everything's like a big mud pit and I'm literally stuck. What if I need an ambulance? What if I need to get to the hospital? What about good cell reception? Do you have it out there? I don't know. So this wonderful, wonderful life of RVing has all of a sudden changed just because you got older. Just because you may have had an illness that you have to deal with. You may have a stroke, you don't know. You may have a heart attack. You may have some kind of condition that doesn't allow you to be very ambulatory. So what are you going to do? Just lay up in your RV? So I think Bob Wells has realized, look, I'm getting older. He's around my age. I don't know, maybe a year younger than me. I don't know. But I think he's starting to see the writing on the wall like, hey, I can't do this forever. So this is going to put him back on the land, literally where he started from. So people, if you want to be an RVer, just think about these things. If it's so wonderful, why are a lot of the old-time RV channels, why are they now not really living the RV life? They're more like living the homestead life. So you see, it's not all roses and rainbows, and that's just what I want you to think about. I need to make a video, though, about there are people that are being forced out of their homes, and that's a very interesting topic. I need to get some statistics and find out, put some numbers together and find out what's really going on. And we're going to find out really that is probably the bottom line for a lot of cities. There are over 200 cities that I know of that have basically outlawed you going into their public streets and towns and sleeping in your car or RV. They've outlawed it. That makes it pretty tough. That puts a tremendous amount of pressure on campgrounds now. So the campgrounds are all booked up. So if you want to get a campground, chances are you better get one maybe a year in advance. But what are you going to do in that year? That's maybe the next video or two. We'll talk about that. It seems like it's easier for cities to, rather than try to help these people that are basically houseless or provide them some place where they can stay, it's easier and cheaper for them to put their money in enforcement to try to keep you off the street and really try to solve the problem. We'll talk about that in a video or two down the road. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for listening. I appreciate it. Again, I love RVing. Could I be an RVer? I probably could, but I would have to do it probably in like an RV park, if you can even find one nowadays, and they're very, very expensive. Thanks for listening, guys. Not everything's roses and rainbows, and don't get sucked in to these little cute girls with the smiles and these big stud muffin guys who's trying to sell you the wonderful life of RVing with smiles on their face. Because when they shut their camera off, they're probably really going, oh my God, I dread this. I got to go pick up some water now. I don't know, guys. Thanks a lot. Hey, leave some messages or comments or whatever you call it down there. Let's talk about this. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. I'm Jimmy Rants.